My name is Dee Atkins, and I'm a salesperson for M&M Auto Parts, and I've been working here for 35 years. When I first started here, I was in high school. I didn't yet have my driver's license, so I actually rode here on a school bus, and they dropped me out front, and I had to run in here without being caught, because apparently you weren't supposed to be dropped off on the middle of Route 1. I was the only person to apply, so of course I got the job. Plus, I look good in my dress, because I did wear a dress. I found out that I did not need that dress because it was all men, all day, every day. Probably in the DC area, there was probably maybe only 4 to 5 women in the industry. The guys gave me a hard time. I mean, like a really hard time. Mrs. Morrow was, at the time an owner, so she really didn't put up with a lot of stuff, from men or, customers who did not treat the women here right. It was a little rough, but finally I learned how to, kind of mouth back off to them, and it all changed. And they started inviting me out to do stuff, truck pulls, go to lunch with them and everything like that. And then they were like my buddies and my friends. But now it's more prevalent for women to be in the industry, and just all over in the automotive industry, you talk to women in the body shops and, automotive shops and everything, everywhere now, where before there was hardly any. When I came here, I didn't really know anything about the recycling industry. I knew about cars because my dad, if a starter needed put on or whatever, he'd make me go out there and do that. He'd make me help him with brakes. He would always make sure I, knew how to change a flat tire so I wouldn't be stuck anywhere. Knew how to drive a stick shift, but he wanted to make sure that I knew how to get around on my own. I had a boyfriend that passed away. He also got a part-time job out of high school, and he came to work here. And he asked me out, and then we started dating, and then come to find out he had testicular cancer, and we just hung out. Eventually he ended up passing away. When he was sick, M&M, they really helped me out a lot. They actually brought meals to the house. They covered my work and everything like that. I would go to the hospital for half a day, and then I would come to work for half a day, and they were just really great. I did meet somebody here. I had heard of him, he had heard of me. We have never crossed paths, so we went to a convention in Danville. Then after that, we started hanging out, and now we are married and we have a 13-year-old boy. We recycle everything here, with these cars, the parts, the fluids, everything gets recycled here. I've been recycling for years, now recycling is kind of like a cool thing, but I've been a green collar worker since 1985. Everybody wants to call and, say, is this a junkyard? A lot of us say, do you want junk for your car? If you do, then you might want to call somewhere else, because we do have some nice late model stuff. If you're paying $7,500 for an engine, I wouldn't consider that junk, or you should not consider that junk. Working here, it has been quite exciting. I did not plan on working here nearly this long. This is supposed to be like a part-time job, just to get out of school and maybe like a summertime gig. I stayed here because, mostly because of the people I work with. The people that I work with, that's the best thing. Actually, everything that I have is because of this place. My houses, my cars. I've been able to do everything I wanted to do here. I love it every day. I mean, you can tell about how excited I am, to be here. Never a boring day at M&M, I'm telling you.